Ladies and gentlemen, today our groups will present Nupo Ventures, a venture capital studio mainly in sustainable areas.
Starting with introduction, Nupo Venture spun out Olam Group in 2022. It halfly B2B and halfly B2C. It bridged between corporate resource and startup identity to drive green innovation. Here is mission, vision, and core value. This is timeline from 2019 to 2021. In 2022, it became independent, but in 2025, it became a part of Olam and repositioning themselves. Here is business model canvas. We focus on problem, including smallholder barriers and sustainability gaps.
Before digging into the main problem, let's talk a bit about the man on the screen right here. Lê Minh Sang, the director of Tân Mỹ Food Cooperative, with a huge ambition to build a 20-hectare organic fruit farm on Bình Dương, focusing on pesticide-free and eco-friendly farming. But his vision is on hold because sustainable agricultural projects require heavy investment in irrigation, soil improvement, and infrastructure, resource that he cannot access. This challenge reflects a broader financial bottleneck, as you can see in here. Like in Vietnam, green credit accounts for only 4.2% of the total outstanding loans. Like a preferential financing and limited technology makes sustainable farming projects 1.5 to 2 times more expensive than the traditional farms. As a result, many projects are delayed and likely to be cancelled as well indefinitely, and innovative ideas remain unrealized. Globally, we have the same pattern in here. Venture capital's funding fell sharply in 2023, down 42% to $248 billion US dollars, the lowest since 2017. Agri-food tech investment also halved, making up just 5.5% venture capital. This means that early-stage startups tackling climate and food challenges or struggle to survive, which is the main problem in here. At the MSME level, the financing gap is even more severe. Over 65 million firms are credit constrained, representing a $5.2 trillion shortfall each year. Trade finance is also restricted, with more than half of SME applications rejected. This triple choke point, heavy capex, credit constraint, and export barriers prevent sustainable agriculture from scaling, and the impacts are already visible on society and health. Air pollution costs over 8.1 million premature deaths annually, while climate change could push up to 132 million more people into extreme poverty by the 2030. Agriculture itself supports 2.5 billion people, yet without sustainable practices, rural community face job loss up to like 80 millions of people economically, and without the action, the GDP can be cut up to 80% by 2015 as well. And finally, the environmental costs are severe. With current pledges, the world is heading towards up to 3 degrees warming in this century. At the same time, 22% of plastic waste are mismanaged, and altogether, this problem shows why financing for sustainable business is urgent. Because without it,
Nupo's main solution is to build sustainable ventures that both generate financial returns and create real positive impact. On the environmental side, their model focuses on three themes: future-ready supply chains, regenerating food systems, and sustainable consumers. Nupo operates as a venture studio. It incubates startups, provides seed capital and technical teams, and spins out ventures when they are ready for external funding. Nupo sits at the center of an ecosystem, incubating startups with Olam's resources while connecting farmers, corporate clients, investors, and regulators to pilot and scale. Nupo acts as a co-founder, which means they incubate ventures like Jiva to recruit leadership, setting KPIs, and uses Olam Farmer Network to scale operations rapidly. Nupo funds early development and provide Olam data enabling pilot contracts with major corporates. Nupo stays on board to align business models and impact metrics, spun out ventures like Track, then attract strategic funding. This 7 step help us to visualize how Nupo will help the
To wrap up this
ventures.
part, Nupo has acknowledged the gap between early stage startup skills and the requirement for scaling, and they serve as creator and investor to help startup transition from the stage idea to scalable growth. So here are some of the successful cases that Nupo have built. First is Jiva. Jiva offer key service to farmers such as digital loans, app-based e-commerce for farm supplies, and these ventures had created many positive results, such as increase in 25% of farmer incomes and 49% of crop yield efficiency. It also have many environmental impacts, such as encourage efficient use of fertilizer and water, and in terms of social impact, it has created over 180 new hires across Singapore, India, and Indonesia. This align with SDG 1, 2, 8, 12, and 13. Another successful case is Terrascope. So Terrascope help business to measure their carbon footprint to reduce scope 1, 2, and 3 emission. This has resulted in a 30 to 40% of decrease in error rate in corporate carbon accounting. So, and for industry sector has got the commercial trial across 15 countries and around 230 million metric tons of GHG emissions has been measured. This helps bring many positive environmental impacts, such as help enterprise track and cut down their CO2 emission and create many high-skill jobs. This align with SDG 8, 9, 12, and 13. So about how Nupo are planning to be financially sustainable is that they focus on investing in three emerging sustainable industry: food, agriculture, and sustainability. With the total market size for sustainable food and agriculture in 2024 is 21.9 billion, and 79% of consumers concerned about environmental sustainability. This align with global megatrends and can ensure Nupo sustainable financials and growth. Moving on to the recommendation, in order to scale up the work done, Nupo can consider to address Vietnam agri-food pain points, as Vietnam has abundant competitive agriculture product, but many smallholders still lack the capital and the technical knowledge to upgrade the production, and therefore Nupo can address this problem and get into the Vietnamese market. Also, there are a few new policy regarding the export market has been produced, such as the ETS pilot will begin under the National Carbon Market Roadmap, and the EUDR requires a deforestation-free supply chain. Therefore, this has put a high pressure on traceability and supply chain data, especially in coffee, rubber, and timber.
So Nupo can capture the missing piece because Vietnam faced the Scope 3 pressures and the smallholder service platform market are also remain wide open. And last but not least is the resort-based financings flow are emerging. These evidence proof that Olam is the market leader through the activities of OFI, Olam Agri, and Agriculture. To adapt, our recommendation for Nupo Venture is expand the scale of operation by strengthening partnership to maintain sustainable finance and building local sports centers to reduce urban-rural gap, lower costs, and promote knowledge transfer. In addition, building a digital infrastructure to support startups such as online platform and marketplace. For financial sustainability, the companies should adjust to suit the context of Vietnam and the region. This means that they respect the characteristic of culture and market. Mekong Delta is an example, and strengthening government collaboration and regulatory compliance to assess pilot sites, gain community support, and increase co-financing. Finally, incorporating cultural sensitivity to enhance community support, minimize conflict. Now, let's move to the lesson learned part. First, from the OLAM ecosystem, we should maintaining the standardized connection within this network to reduce the cost of relearning. Moreover, over time, we also connect the old with the new, which means that new pole can be the connector. Next one, I think we can focus on the sector strength and pinpoint where anchors as solution in the policy prioritized and export-driven sectors. And the last one, apply the financial discipline when scaling to pursue the capital light results-based model. So then how these lessons can inform to the border change? Let me talk about a little bit about policy first. Vietnam is already moving toward the green transitions. For example, with the proposals of ban new gasoline motorbike in major city. Moreover, Lupo can inspiring the other organization through the Jiva story and other story. Last but not least, they can driving the global sustainability effort by embedding the proven solutions in the fragment agri system, show that sustainability can scale, and this approach contributes to the global climate action for others emerging market. So let's moving on to the conclusions. To sum up, Nupo Venture is the venture studio linked with the Olam Group, venture capital of the agricultural startup, a lack of interest nowadays. And Nupo Ventures can capture the Vietnamese agriculture industry demand by using adaptation and standardizations. And their mission is to motivate business with sustainable idea with their own ecosystem. So this is the end of our presentations about Nupo Ventures. Thank you for listening. And this is our references list.